In this example, I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually create a console application. A console application is just what we would run from the DOS prompt, and it's just something that's going to output text to that DOS screen. You can read text, get input from the keyboard, etc. We're just going to create it very quickly. You're going to be amazed at how quick it actually is. From Visual Studio .NET 2003, we do File, New Project. We're just going to create a Visual C# project, console application. We'll browse for our folder. We already have it there. Hello World within our projects folder. We'll just hit open. And then we'll just type in our name. And then you can see that our project is going to be called Hello World in the Hello World folder. We hit OK. There's a little bit of work that goes on. We can view our Solution Explorer, Control-Alt-L. And then we see that we just have our main class here. We'll talk about this in detail. But we're just going to show you the arguments that you can put on a command line application, console application, and we'll just loop through those really quickly. So we'll just put some code in. We're going to discuss all this code and a lot more throughout the training. I'll just type it in really quickly. And you can see that with the code hint, you can actually get the methods and properties of this particular object here. We're just going to deal with the length of the arguments, how many arguments there are, like you would with a standard array. And we'll just make it a little bit neater. And the normal way that you're going to read and write from the console is to work with the read and read line. To read characters, a set number of characters, or to read a whole line if you're dealing with a text file that has character return line feeds, which is pretty common. Or you can actually write and write line, common ways to write to output. Normally you would have a process that runs. Even if it's updating into a database, you can have a process that runs that will give you the feedback like a log output, and it's going to write to the screen there. So we'll pick write line because it's going to write a whole line. Then we'll pick just some string that we place here. Now if we want to put in variables into our text, there's a neat way to do that within the .NET world, and that is to put open bracket a value of the actual place of the parameter that you want to pass in there. You can put open bracket 0, end bracket, and then you can do the same thing for 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many variables you want to pass into this string, as you're going to see. We'll look at this a lot later, just giving you the details on how to do this really quickly. And then we can just close this, put our semicolon, and then this particular variable is going to be passed here. Now if we put something else, for example, we'll call it 1. You can put as many as you want, and format it as you want to. We'll look at this in great detail, like I said. And we'll just put a string here, just to show you that's how it would work. So it just goes within a for loop. We'll get all into that later. And then we'll just do our standard write line, and we'll say, hello world. Just like that. And very quickly, very easy, this is signaling that this is a single-threaded apartment, and this is what you would use for a console application. It's just an attribute here that you can just ignore for the time being, just to let you know what it does. So we build our solution, and it says, whoa, wait a second, we need another closing bracket. We can double-click on that error and see that we have to properly close our main function there, our main entry point. Now we can build again, and it succeeded. So we go to a command line prompt. If you want to get a command line prompt, you can just get the start menu and then run, and then type CMD, as you see here, and then you'll get a command prompt. I'll show you other ways to work with that. And then we want to actually grab that folder name. So we'll double click within here. This is our project. We'll see the whole project here that's actually created. We'll go into our bin directory, which is normal, and then the debug directory, which is where our debugging file is going to live. This is where the first compile is going to live. We'll type CD to change the directory. We'll paste. Now we're in that folder. All we have to do is type in hello world. And there you see hello world was presented to us. Well, we didn't see any arguments. That's because we didn't pass any arguments. And we can actually pass arguments. You don't even need the exe there. And this is going to pass different types of arguments to our file, and how you process those arguments is up to you. But just to show you how quick and easy it is to do that, you can see arguments here, and each are shown here through that for loop, and then you see that second variable that was added to each line there, the two less than signs. Very quick and very easy to do that. You can also compile from the command line compiler. If we do a couple of CDs back to our hello world folder, we'll do CSC. This is the command line compiler for C#. We'll type in our class1.cs file. It compiles. We'll go to our project folder. Just to show you, there it is, class1.exe. We'll type in class1.exe. Actually, we'll go back. We'll hit the up arrow to find some things that we already typed in. Backspace. And then we'll just type in class1. Just like that. So we successfully compiled from Visual Studio, and the command line compiler, you can see how quick and easy it is. Well, that's pretty simple, isn't it, just to get started in writing console applications.